I found one. Hello, Nikki. Oh, I'm disconnected from chat. Okay, folks, this is Druss here. Don't know if you can hear me. I'm hoping you can. Nikki and Savage, welcome aboard. Not entirely sure if you can hear me. If you can, please do let me know so I can just drop a line in the text chat box thing there, please. And we'll just see if you can hear me. I'm still trying to figure out this, so this is my first proper thing. It's saying disconnected from chat. Okay. Sorry, folks, if you can see me, I do apologise. I'm trying my best to figure out how to use the dashboard, and I'm having great difficulty doing that because I'm a old person who doesn't know how to do anything really. So if you can see me, if you can hear me, Nikki or Savage, please do send something in the chat because I honestly don't know. It's I'm on a laptop here. I've got my phone beside me trying to keep track of messages, and I'm not entirely sure that's working. So as I said, if possible, if you can see me, please do let me know in the chat, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to see you. Anyway, we'll get started. This is a town that I'm currently building on 1.16. It's going to be eventually ported over to Darwin when Darwin moves onto 1.16. It's not entirely built by myself. Scout has helped a good bit. Oh, perfect. Thank you, lads, for letting me know. So this is a town that I'm building on 1.16. I've done a video on it before, but essentially it kind of started, and it wasn't meant to be a project. It just became one. So this was my first house that I built on 1.16, just messing around with the blocks. And then I built a second one separately here that was copied from The Witcher 3, and then I built another one, and then it just kind of snowballed into starting a town. So the town itself is going to be part of the world of Druss, and again it will be imported to Darwin when we move to 1.16. At the moment it's just currently myself and Scout working on it. Sorry, I'm just reading Nikki's. Surely Curry can do it, so you can too. Well, I don't know about that, Nikki. But so one other person did help out and build one building, but we haven't heard from them in a while, and they haven't given me their permission to name and shame them. So I'll leave it at that. So yeah, it's going to be a kind of a fairly large town with a central castle, early 1600s vibe, I think. That being said, I never plan anything, so I actually don't particularly know what era it is. I'm taking inspiration from various buildings if I find them. Like this one in particular was actually inspired by a town in a place called Kersey in England. But the vast majority of buildings that I have built have been completely out of my own head, and I've just randomly built them as I go along. So it's a bit of a mishmash, really. And I'll point out Scouts where we go. This one was built at by the other person that was joined us, but we haven't heard from for a while. So there. we have it. Anyway, so that's part of the town. This will be the main square, and eventually it will be entirely enclosed, and you'll get a kind of a claustrophobic feeling. There will be only that road out, and this road out, and even then you won't have this bit here where you can see the horizon. It'll be hemmed in by buildings, and they're all fully furnished except for this monstrosity here. This is the one I'm just after finishing, and it's unfurnished at the moment, so we're going to try and furnish that. This tree, Savage, was built by Scout. Scout is a gajillion times better at organics than I am, so we'll leave that to her. This is just a little thing I was messing with the other day. It's a little stocks. We also use the Victory mod in this, because if you haven't used Victory mod, it's fantastic. Okay, it is fully furnished, Ronan. Welcome aboard, Ronan. Hello. Good to have you on board. Ronan, for those of you who don't know, is a server owner and a YouTuber of considerable skill. Everyone go and join his channel. He is an absolute gentleman and a fantastic builder, so check him out. Bad Ronan on YouTube. So this is just an example of one house. It's a townhouse I built a while ago. Again, these are horrible things that I just came up with at random, and I just threw blocks together, so apologies, Nikki, if it's really, really horrible. I do my best. So just a kitchen, little oven, all fairly basic. A wine cellar over here. Just a sitting room, bookcase. Bog standard, really. Nothing too fancy. I don't quite have the interior decorating skills that the likes of Asreya do. These chairs are Victory mod chairs, so they have numerous block states that you can push them in and out, which is fantastic. Just this is clearly the dining room. Scout does joke, because I have a particular way of building and decorating that you'll see that I build the exterior and then I do the walls of the interior, so this bit, and then finally I get around to, once I assign a room a purpose, I then decorate it. So this was a study, obviously, or a library. Thanks, Ronan. That's just, I can't claim as being, thank you for saying it's great. I don't particularly think so. I don't really rate my own building skills. To be perfectly frank, I'm constantly in awe of the entire community and how much better they are than I am. So yeah, no, thank you though. So little water closet, obviously. So dining room, study, water closet, small landing, and then we're up to the bigger landing. Now this is an earlier build. I've since moved on, and you'll find that this horribleness here, where you have different wallpapers for each room, I now do a double thick wall in every landing and hall so that I avoid that problem. Okay, so small bedroom, dressing table, the usual, it's a wardrobe, bed and that sort of thing. Nothing too special. A bathroom, another bedroom with I don't know what these are doing here. I'll claim the fifth on it, but add 2 and 2. And then finally up here we have this is the attic space. So you have a small little storage area, and you have just a small bedroom for the kids. So nothing too special again. Oh, and of course little wash area, of course, because why not? I am trying to, despite my own server whisper, I would imagine I've been joined by someone fairly shortly, but yeah, no. So again, this is just a box center. Now I'll just show you. This is another house. Again, some of them are going to be commercial, some are not. So oh, Jim's house, that's private joke. This building here was heavily inspired by a building called the Thosel in Kilkenny in Ireland, which is fairly close to where I live. Thosels are an Irish building that were essentially kind of town halls and courthouses all in one. And again, this is just, again, it's just, as I said, it was a civic building that you had cells in and that sort of thing. So it's just fulfilling I wanted to make it realistic in that way. Well, I suppose accurate in that way. Do you know how you could better avoid that problem? Yeah, no, Brett, I don't know, Ronan. You can let me know, please. I would love to know anything that can help me in overcoming the many deficiencies I have. Would be fantastic. So this is a cartographer's. It's named for a YouTuber friend of mine called Emmerich, who's a chap who is in Australia. Again, apology, I don't think that, you would find far better facades and that sort of thing, but I do my best. So just to show you the interior here, just to explain myself. As you can see, it has a specific wallpaper for the hall, and in the last building you had a wallpaper for one room and then the other, and in the hall was a mishmash of wallpapers, and it looks awful. So I've since moved on, and I do these bits like a separate, a double thick wall essentially. So you have, each room has its own wallpaper, and while it does create a little less interior space, I think it's a little more cohesive and a little bit more realistic in terms of how it looks. There's a second oven, Ronan. Oh, chiseling bits, Ronan. You're mad. I have difficulty enough with with Conquest Reforged and Minecraft in general, without adding to the chiseling bits madness that you're a more capable man than I. So I shall leave that to you. This is the Merchant's Guild. So again, this building here was inspired by the Thosel or the clock tower in a town called Youghal in Ireland. It's about an hour's drive from me, and I actually I had an idea to do this in the town square anyway, and I wanted to use the red sandstone brick. I felt that it needed to be used somewhere. And the only bit I want to draw your attention to here is the guild hall itself. The only reason I did this was because I had fun using bricks I normally wouldn't. So this, I typically wouldn't use any of the mosaic bricks or the gilded bricks. I'm a more plain style of builder, and I just went a bit mad here, and I had a bit of fun designing the guild hall meeting room. Without saying too much, it's also inspired by a certain organization that I would be very familiar with, and yeah, let's say the better. Anyway, moving on. I want to just quickly go down, and we will show, prior to actually getting to work, we will go down and see the next area. So this is the area I've been focusing on, which is the town square, and as I said, that's a private residence. That is a private residence / gambling den, a sort of an upper class, a more well established area where gentlemen can go and gamble away their ill-gotten gains. This is a municipal building of some sort that people come to get married in, and it was inspired by a building I think was in Hamelin in Germany, where I saw this building with all these bells hanging out the side of the building, and apparently it was called the Wedding House. And even though it was quite different in terms of its palette, and it was a grey building and grey stone, I just felt I wanted to do something like it. So again, this is a bit more of a palladial style building. You have a harpsichord here. The harpsichord was not built by me, it was built by Scout, because again, Scout is ultimately a far better builder than myself. We have some just building down here, just a oven for, this is for obviously baking for the parties above, and a little kitchen, little storeroom, little rat hole with our little fella there. His name is Jerry. And just the wine cellar, and the wine gets hoisted down and up from there, from the street. So just that's how to get the barrels up and down. And thanks, Savage. I appreciate the fact that these are far more colourful again than this building here was, again, a civic building. It was meant to be a sort of a Baroque building where, again, a small harpsichord that was of my own design. This is a Baroque building, and it's meant to be where, as I said, people get married, or in this case, Teddy and a Puffin get married. So again, a lot more colourful than I would typically build in. So anyway, onwards we go. This area we're coming to is the poorer area. It was built by Scout. 99.9% of it was built by Scout. My only contributions to this entire area have been this over-engineered crane. Scout asked could I build a crane, and of course I just, typical of me, I just kept on adding bits, and it just ended up as this horrific thing you see here, a bit of a Frankenstein's monster. Now I know Scout did this. Scout, this entire this is meant to be a sort of a customs building, where they will stop and tax goods coming down the river, and Scout did a fantastic job in building it. And again, it's a customs house essentially. So you have a number of, you know, offices and excise officials, that sort of thing. If you can let me know, one of you, that the chat is still working by just saying test or Druss, you're an idiot or something like that, I'd appreciate it greatly, please. I'm not entirely sure if I'm still broadcasting here, so if you can, I would. Thank you very much, Ronan. Very much appreciated. So yeah, no. So this is going to be the waterfront again, a poorer area. We said this is kind of the slums, not quite slums, but a poorer area anyway. But by the riverside. Forgive me while I have a glass of gulp of tea. This was an innovation of Scout's, and for those of you who are building, I think it's fantastic. In the 1.16, she used a carpet block as a sort of a painted panel, and it was genius. I couldn't believe how innovative it was. So Ronan and anyone else who is possibly building a 1.16, that I was blown away by that little trick there that she used. It was utterly fantastic. So kudos to Scout. She's Scout is a fantastic builder. Ronan, you are probably the only who might not be familiar with Scout. Scout is she was a moderator on Darwin. She would be a fairly well-known member of our community on Darwin, and she'd be a very good friend of mine. So we've started this little project. As I said, I initially started it myself, and then Scout was helping me do things, and we shared a Google Drive, and she was creating schematics of trees, and then she was sharing them on my Google Drive, and I'd have to upload them to the world, and then I was sending the world back to her via the Google Drive, and it was a bit of a nightmare. So we decided then that we'd get a server between the both of us. And Asraya, hello and welcome. It is absolutely wonderful to have you on board. I did mention that I thought you're a wonderful interior designer, so thank you. So myself and Scout then decided that the handiest thing for us to do would be to just build this, and again, when the time comes that we can import it over to Darwin, so much the better. So today's task, this house here, this townhouse. I've decided it's going to be a private house. It's rather large, and I'm slightly daunted by the idea of having to furnish it, but furnish it I must, so we will try our best. As you can see, there's two different chimney stacks. This will be the kitchen one, this will be the sitting room one and bedrooms above, etc, etc. It has a big dormer, and Scout has joined the party. Hello, Scout. And of course she can't hear us, so just to let her know. So to do, in preparation for this stream, I didn't want to meander as much as I usually do, and I didn't want people to be bored out, well, sorry, more bored out of their minds than they already probably are. So I literally went, whizzed around, and I kind of assigned some interior rooms their purposes and areas. Well, thanks, Scout. Good to know that you're watching too. So everyone who does, as a Scout, you're familiar with everyone almost watching except for Ronan, who's a very good friend of mine and a fantastic builder and server owner and YouTuber himself. So worth watching. I've talked to you about him before anyway. So we've got 6 floors. I'm just going to go into create spectator. So we've got a cellar, which I haven't actually, I forgot to split up into rooms. Flora Hain, to use the Irish, Flora Doe, Flora 3, Flora Cuig, and Flora Cahir, which we won't actually do. There's no point in doing this attic because by the time I had actually, let's just go into, no, we'll use a different block for this, a darker one. Yeah, take that one. So we shall, just to give you an example, if I am an idiot. Okay, so by the time we have filled this attic up, by the time we have done the interior of the attic, essentially there will be very little crawl space to use. At least I don't think I'm going to use it. It's possible we could use it. Yeah, there may be enough room, but that's a definite possibility. Okay, so we'll open up the attic and use that as a space for, you know, skeletons or zombies or something. We'll figure something out, but we can definitely, there's a bit more space than I anticipated. Enough space to walk anyway, which is essentially all you can do. I can just throw in a few decorations anyway, make it slightly more realistic and slightly more immersive. My vision for Tierna Druss, and now that Tierna Druss is not my world, it's myself and Scout who are building it. But initially this started on Darwin, and I wanted a world that would rival the likes of, not rival in a bad way, but be comparable to the likes of Ardacraft or Vizima, Project 8, something like that. And whether it's achievable or not is debatable. I would like to think that it is, but obviously the time frame is going to be far greater because there's less of us working on it, and it is a huge project. Like I see this as, so this will be your stereotypical, as I said, early 1600s city or town, and it will be enclosed by city walls, and it will have a castle and excuse me, more civic areas. But I also want to have orc camps, I want to have elvish cities and dwarf strongholds and all the kind of tropish fantasy elements that you can have, and they'll all be connected by a road network and by little hamlets and villages, and taverns, and basically to create an entirely immersive world that people can come on and enjoy. And well, who knows, like I would love to, if it's particularly when we're on Darwin again and we finally are able to move to 1.16 pending Spongeforge doing its thing. We could possibly have other members on the team. I'd be delighted to be able to expand it. But so here is the interior of the house. This window was a screw up of my own. I do need a build team. Carcassonne, thanks very much. Yeah, like gorgeous place, Carcassonne. A small build team, I agree. I do need a build team, Savage. I agree completely. Myself and Scout working together are having a ball of a time. Genuinely, we know each other very well. We have a similar mindset, and we have similar build styles and aims and that sort of thing. Carcassonne, Nikki, gorgeous castle. Possibly a little bit big for myself to manage our Scout as well. Again, that's possibly something we may have to leave until if we do move on. And as Ronan, I do agree. The smaller build teams are probably a little bit more stressful, but they're probably a little bit more manageable, I would imagine. Again, I have zero experience with this. I've never worked on a team build outside with Scout before. Myself and Scout had a War of the Worlds plot on Darwin that I stopped. We added so many armor stands to it that my frame rate froze up and I'm finding it difficult to move on it. But anyway, let's get on with it. Like I said, I have a particular way of building that Scout is familiar with. I tend to do the interior walls and the interior divisions, and then move on a room. I'm fairly methodical. I'll move on by a room by room basis. So and you can do double thick walls. I always do double thick walls, just to allow you an extra element of decoration. Prim Panther and I just go. Yeah, I've never actually seen some of Prim Panther stuff, Ronan. Perhaps you could show some of them on your YouTube channel if you haven't already, because I'd love to see it. Okay, finally, just before we move into the interior, my golden rule, because I do interiors and with double thick walls, is I will just give you an example here. We need our wool, which is on the next page, and there. And a window block, which would be handy. So for those of you who aren't aware, you're probably all looking at this and know exactly what I'm going to do already anyway. So there is your exterior wall. And so I built this, and as you can see, I built it and I put the window there, one block in. So there I was, being an absolute idiot that I am, foolish Irishman, and I built my thing. And then I came to do the interior and realised that the interior wall would be there. And I got terribly annoyed with myself and had to debate whether I wanted to change the entire exterior of the house and just make this a one wide window, or keep it as a double. And I decided to keep it as a double, and then finally hit upon the idea of thanks, Ron, I appreciate it. Using a kind of a corner window, and it's a cheat and it's not ideal, but it allowed me to retain the double window on the outside while also being able to use it on the inside. And look, it's a cheat and it's a workaround, but for me it will work. It's not terribly important, and that it you can see the exterior wall for a small portion of it there, but it is what it is. Okay, so let's just whiz around. I tend to make my wood paneling for the walls too high, not exclusively, just that's just my own personal preference. That I can leave. That will make a nice bookshelf or something. And because I'm lazy, I tend to just do the same on both sides. This obviously is, not necessary by any means. You can always do, if you wished, you can do whatever. If I really wished, I could do different wood paneling on each side, or I could do anything really, whatever I chose. But this is why I'm working on it. Oh, of course, yeah. That will have to go there. That will have to go there. That will have to go there. And again, the reason I'm doing this is only to allow the wallpaper be different on each side of in each different room. It does create a double thick wall. I am conscious of the fact that it takes up a bit of interior room, but for me it's an acceptable compromise. It's something that I'm happy to do because I just feel that it decorates a house far better. So we have 5 viewers, and I've been rabbiting on for 33 minutes, and I've done nothing. So God forbid this may be my inaugural and final stream, because I can't see that you are going to be too interested in doing this. But yeah, so the reason for that is you have one wallpaper here, and for me it just adds to the immersion that little bit, that you don't have that issue that you saw back here, where you have multiple wallpapers in a hallway. I think it just that was a flaw I made in my early building of the town. So there we have it. Now the next move is to choose wallpaper for each particular room. So typically I will do that based on, you know, the actual room itself, and hopefully have something that is appropriate to it. We will try and figure that out. So the kitchen would typically have a whitewashed wall, and the sitting room would be something slightly more opulent. This is the plaster and paint. That's masonry. You could choose. I'm quite guilty of always falling back on the same tired block choices again and again and again. Thanks, Ron. That puts my mind at rest a lot. That like you wouldn't believe, to be perfectly frank, because I am very conscious of this being my first stream. I'm also very conscious of the fact that I tend to get distracted and meander in the way I talk and the way I say things. I think that looks fairly okay. Now, the reason this is 3 high is because it's exterior facing. So if I was to have it too high, I would have that, and that obviously wouldn't look good. So that's just going to be front door paneling. That is one door. Interior for this I had 2, and we were able to utilize a knocker, but I don't want to overuse the double door effect too much, so that's why I chose to have the one door here. So let's just go up. And well, they can be, you see this area here, I could have technically a bookshelf here, and at the back of it I would be able to have a kitchen shelf there, sort of thing. So we can leave that empty, and we will find a use for that. And the same goes as I decorate. I'll probably knock out walls here and there and everywhere just to put in bookshelves and decorations. But this is the way my mind works. I'm almost robotic in the way I build things, and again, that's just, unfortunately, that's a quirk of my own, a little idiosyncrasy of my own personality. And this is the fireplace. One thing I do miss about not playing on Darwin is Oh, 1.5 doors would be absolutely epic. But as I build this, Ronan, I keep on telling myself, oh, I wish I had this, I wish I had this, because there are literally just so many things that you could have that would be really, really beneficial. And I keep on thinking, like, oh, wouldn't it be great if I had, what was it I was looking for the other day? I think it was wood paneling arches or something along those lines, and the same way as we have the new stone arches, that sort of thing. Forgive me, every time I take a sudden pause, it's probably just I'm taking a gulp of tea to keep my mouth a little bit more wet and being able to talk. So yeah, so I miss being on Darwin because I have very little skill, well, in doing a lot, but there are people that are far, far more capable than I of doing really ornate and gorgeous fireplaces, and I kind of just relied on them a lot while. Oh yeah, that's what you make it right. Yeah, again, chiseling bits is a fantastic tool that I would love to be capable enough to utilize, but maybe I never say never, Ronan. I think that there's a possibility that at some point I may use it. Now the debate here is to thicken this up here and have the hall as a different color, which I think I will do, because it just stops issues from having this carried through, and then you'd have, if I carried this through from the sitting room, which is no problem, until you get to this point here where you have this room here, so you'd have a different wall there because you're inside this room here. So but then all of a sudden, yeah, you've got this issue here. If you don't have a double thick wall here, you would have that wall there being that wallpaper, and the opposite side being the opposite wallpaper, and that's the thing I'm trying to avoid. So I think the compromise is that I'm going to thicken that wall up by 1, and that there is wide enough so I can get away with using a different wallpaper or just a different decorative color. And we'll keep this simple. I tend to keep my halls a little bit more simple typically than my kind of main rooms, like my kitchens or my sitting rooms or dining rooms or what have you. There's no real reason for that. It's just my own, again, my own particular style of building, I suppose. Oh, no, okay. There may be an issue here. Because despite that, that will be 1. We're still going to have an issue there. Does that work? Or does that look stupid? Answers on a postcard, folks. I could try vertical slabs. Yeah, I think, yes, I will be doing paintings on the wall, Rona. In some areas, I'm becoming more heavily reliant on Victory Mod for the Victory Mod paintings because they're treated as blocks as opposed to entities, and I'm really, really keenly aware of the fact that I have a potato laptop that if I do too many entities, I'm just going I just won't be able to move. You know, it'll get too much for it. So I think, yes, I think vertical slabs might work here as a good compromise. So I could use that there, and that there, and that there, and then get rid of that, and then do the same. Now the other thing, okay, well, what we need there is we need our trusty corner slab, and that does work. And hold on, we can try it. There, I think that's okay. Thank you, Ronan. Do people agree? Is that acceptable compromise. That works for me personally. I think. I have to find some way of hanging. Oh, we definitely have to work on that. We can't have that. That looks terrible. Where are we? There we go. And perhaps we can use something a bit more ordinary, something a little bit different, just to hang the light from. Or perhaps just do the same. And something of a light source. Nothing too fancy because it's just a hallway. So that ought to do there. We can still see out. Sorry, lads, as well, if you can comment. I have a bit of a foghorn voice, and if the sound is me shouting down the stream, please do let me know, because I'm quite extroverted, loud person typically, and I think it would be. Oh, okay, that was probably. So if I'm too loud, I will just let me know, and I will try to soften my voice a little bit, a little more sotto voce. Okay, so entrance to the. Thank you very much, Scout. Sorry, Scout and myself have chatted on numerous occasions. We know each other well enough, and yeah. Okay, so Scout's probably well aware that I am a shouty individual, or my voice is a little bit too shouty. Okay, let's forget about the torture chamber. There, look. No, hello, Scout. Introduce yourself, please. Here is Scout. Scout is running away. Okay, so back down that stairs, Scout. And for the love of all Christ in a bike. Okay, so you can't actually get up the stairs because the light is in the way. Right, so that answers that question. That will go there, and we shall have our. That there. Yeah, say hello, Scout. I have a wonderful voice. Well, thank you very much, Scout. I appreciate it greatly, but we shall. I not agree to disagree. That clearly didn't work, and that definitely didn't work. Oh God, almighty! Right, okay. See, as I said, you can't trust me to do anything. Now, so hopefully we shall be able to walk up the stairs. Yeah. There was a joke we told Scout back in the day about, I believe you English sorts. Oh, your noise is. Thanks very much, Nicky. I won't say it on stream, but we used to have jokes when I was a school child of Paddy Englishman, Paddy Irishman, and Paddy Scotsman. And I believe, depending on what country you're in, the titular less intelligent of the three would be one of the different countries. So in England, for example, it would probably be Paddy Irishman that was the butt of the jokes. In Ireland, it would be Paddy Englishman that was the butt of the jokes. And who knows about Scotland. But there was one that involved drowning. But as I said, it's probably best that I leave it off. Not too boomy. So thank you very much, Ron. So yeah, no, it's probably not too a good idea to use it on a stream that people are listening in on. They might get offended. And I can't have Scout offended with me. It's not her fault that she's English. Right, our dining room. So let's move on. Our dining room, and I'm just going to double. I could, if I wanted, put more slabs in here, and you'd have a little bit of a sill on the inside. The only reason I'm not, it's not laziness, I'm just concerned that, from what I understand, Minecraft, the way it is rendered or computed or it works, is that it treats each slab as or each layer in classical Conquest Reforged as a slab. So if you have, and don't forget Wales, I never forget Wales rocks, Savage. It treats each slab as one block. So whereas here you'd have just one block, and if I had two, 3 there and 3 there. It's computing 6 blocks there, which may make my actual it'll be harder for my computer to render and work on, basically. So that's why I'm doing the full window blocks on the interior. It's not just laziness on my part. It's taking into consideration from what I understand about the way Minecraft basically renders the world around you. Okay, so Scout, do you have any preferences as to the colour of the dining room? Again, I do tend to typically stick to tire tropes. I've used our orange plaster, which one of my favourite blocks, by the way. I love it. It's a fantastic block. Fair play, monster. Fancy magenta suckle. It's one I'm not even familiar. Is this brand new? I don't remember. Maybe it's just I didn't see it before. I do not remember that block. Okay. Apologies, I'm just going to have to go on mute for a second. I'll be back in a minute, folks. Apologies. Hello all, I do apologise. I don't know if you're still with me. If you are, again, apologies. That was my good lady wife, who was calling from on her way home from work. I don't know if I have been close all. I don't know if I'm still on chat or if I'm off chat or anything. Scout, perhaps you could tell me. How do I do this? Oh, this is going to take so much time to learn. Clips, videos, chat. Hopefully I'm there now. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Scout. Very much appreciated. That's ideal. Again, I think this is Scout's favourite block. I think. She's mentioned it before on a few occasions that this is one of the new 1.16 blocks. It's rather weird, as this being my first stream, talking without reciprocal answers, where people will be chatting back to you. No, thank you very much, Ron. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, no, my wife was ringing on her way home from work. Today was we had a fairly busy day. I had a doctor's appointment, but we also had to go to a place called Blessington, where we were picking up a new chicken coop, and then we were kind of in a rush back from the doctors and to get to the doctors, and then our children's sports day was on in the school, so we were then at that, and then my poor wife Claire had to run into work, and so it's been kind of hectic from all sides. So we decided to leave the dinner until she got back, so we were trying to arrange that now, and so she'll be back in half an hour, at which point this stream will have to unfortunately end. Okay, Nikki, good luck and thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it. You're an absolute legend. So there we have it. Anyway, so dining room done, sitting room done, hall done, and now we're on to the kitchen, which will be fairly basic. It'll be whitewashed or something along those lines. Scout once joked that about one of the houses that I was building at the time, that it looked like a house that was about to be moved into, because she had walked into it and she saw these big empty rooms that were essentially all decorated. Like, the next thing I'll do is decorate the kind of the bases of the interior, so the likes of the fireplaces, that sort of thing. Carpets where carpets are needed, you know. But yeah, so Scout was just laughing, saying that it looks like a house that has just been moved out of or is about to be moved into, which isn't a bad. It's not entirely inaccurate. I think she was pretty much right, just the way my own building style is. This is going to be a fairly big kitchen, so we should have room for quite a bit. Is my phone again? Apologies, I don't have a big fancy setup. I run off a laptop, and my phone keeps on going into it just keeps on going into whatever the mode is that, you know, it assumes you're not looking at it in the standby, and I have to keep on turning it on then. That is stucco, that is stucco, yeah, so we're okay there. Yeah, that they match, and I'll leave that there. Okay, this should be, yeah, that's right, yeah, good. Now, this is just going to be a small little water closet. We could actually afford to make it bigger, but there's no real need to do that. In fact, we could also just get rid of that there. And that should be good to go there. That's ideal. And that's, again, a little innovation by Ronan. Thank you very much for the thought. I probably would have, I think, remembered myself, but probably taken a huge amount of time longer for the realization to dawn on me that, oh yeah, you can use vertical blocks there as well. So that's our interior walling or wallpapering done. And on the way, and by the way, this staircase is I am horrific. I am the worst person in the world at designing interiors. Excuse me, and laying them out. When I built my castle in Druss, I had this gargantuan castle and a vast amount of space within it. And oh, thank you very much. I would appreciate that really greatly. Any hints like that. But so I had this gargantuan space, and I was incredibly daunted because I know exactly where I have a fairly strict methodology that I use to determine where my floors are. But even with the floors were huge, and I was just daunted by it. And then Brick Alchemist one day, like he saw me wander around the floor, and I know my little avatar having a cry, and he offered to help me lay out the interior of the castle, and that's what we did. And I had that help. Sorry, folks, were you not seeing that? Because it's after saying I'm after getting a message saying that return to broadcast on Twitch. Were you not seeing the last while? I really hope you were. Anyway, apologies. Yeah, so anyway, this was something I stole from my own castle, which was, I was wondering what to do with this little tower here, and in a kind of a hack, I decided to make that into the little stairway all the way up, because it's just convenient for me, because I'm that bad at interior decoration that it makes life a little bit easier. So here we have the next floor, utilising that vertical block that Ronan suggested earlier on. So on this floor, oh good, thank you very much, Scout, appreciate it. On this floor we have, let me see, what do we have? Again, we have a study, a living room. I am open to suggestion on other things for that. Living room was just something I came up with because I'm an idiot who doesn't have that many original thoughts. A bedroom, a bathroom, which that's fairly okay. I can live with that. And on this floor, it's mostly bedrooms. So a landing, bedroom a hain, bedroom a doe, bedroom a three, and that is that. And then up here, a storeroom, and this is the best idea of all. So definitely we need ideas for here. Thank you very much, Ron. I appreciate it. Just the confirmation. Oh, Ronan, you're streaming tomorrow. Okay, folks, everyone, Ronan was streaming tomorrow. Now, I know Ronan he's stateside over, he's one of our transatlantic friends. So you might want to put in what hours you're on there, Ronan, and happy. If I'm available, I will join you. I'd be delighted to. So yeah, so this room here, I have absolutely no idea. I can't keep on doing the same old tired things. I keep on trying. I build a big house, and I do a study, I do bedrooms, I do a bathroom. Once in a while, I have an original thought of my own, but not very often. So it would be, as I said, if anyone can think of an idea for the loft room, as long as it's not too outlandish, I would be happy to consider it. And down we go down the stairs. Now the disadvantage of this tower being a stair tower, look at that, that will be worked on. We'll do some sort of cladding for the interior of that, and the interior of the thing here, like much like we have here. And that you won't be able to walk down this if we have too much decoration. So, but it will just give the, as I said, the immersion of space, and the immersion of the illusion of it being used, even if it isn't properly. Library. I have a library, Ronan. It would probably actually make a better library. So I could use this as, do you know something? You're right. Let's get rid of that there, and we can make better use of the. Oh no, wrong floor. We can make better use of the study up here. So a study or a library. That will do ideally, and that means we just have to come up with a small use, but the room is a lot smaller, so I can use that space. It's bigger, and it will make a better study anyway. So this room here can be a small bedroom. I'm happy with that. Yeah. Again, bedroom is just a throwaway R. Happy for better ideas, please, folks. Yeah. So that'll be that bit. Again, this is all in progress. Let's just say we'll have to come up with different interior, like that's that exterior wall, that will all be gone. So it will. And again, I am conscious of the fact that we have lost essentially an entire window, but it needs most. It's just the way it worked out. So this is our third floor, so go on down to our second floor, and I think this is the floor. Yeah, okay, we're good. Right, so first things first, some form of wood paneling for the base. Now this isn't, obviously everyone has different styles, and you don't need to use wood paneling at all. Some, like, or even if you do, you can just keep it one high. It could be, look, I'm preaching to conversion here. I'm not entirely sure why I'm rabbiting on about this to people who are all better builders than myself, but if there is anybody watching who I'm not aware of, wood paneling is just my own personal taste, and I enjoy the contrast between wood paneling and then a bit of decorative paneling above it. So that's why I do it. Yeah, that'll do there. Now you won't be able to see this. Right. So we have a bit of a gap here, and again, just by way of the house, if I wasn't doing interior walls, you would be able to utilize this. Unfortunately, it's just a bit of dead space, and that goes against the grain with me. But unfortunately, in this case, there's very little I can do about it. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of the urban legend of Ronan and another member of the people who are watching me. A nursery. Oh, good idea, Scout. Excellent, Susie. So there was an urban legend many moons ago of a film called Three Men and a Baby, and it scared the living bejesus out of me as a child, because when I was around 10, there was this urban legend that there was a ghost in the actual movie Three Men and a Baby. And sure enough, there's a scene where Ted Danson is talking to his mother in the movie, and behind the curtain there's this kind of sepia little kid with glowing eyes, and it genuinely looked like a ghost. And the urban legend was that the poor child had died young in that building or something along those lines, and it scared the living hell out of me as a child. And then, as it turns out, it was only a cardboard cutout of one of Ted Danson's previous movies. So there you have it, Occam's razor. It's not a case that there are typically things that go bump in the night, but in this case I think it would be nice for us to do something like that. There we go. Have a little wither skull. Not that anyone will ever see it, and if they do, it's a little Easter egg. Except the wither skull looks rubbish. The actual the 1.12 wither skull looked a lot better. Maybe they've got that as a. Maybe they have that as a statue skull or something like that. That's meant to be used more for statues nowadays. Anyway, there we go. It's dead space, but at least now, if an extremely conscientious explorer will be able to find some little Easter egg in it. There we go. Now, let's do something a little bit mad. Bones. Oh, and by the way, Scout, as you're listening, just so you're aware, there are a number of little gruesome Easter eggs hidden behind walls and stuff where I didn't have spaces. I haven't told anyone about them because, well, there's only yourself to tell, really, but know that they exist. And now let's carry on with our actual work. Again, lads and ladies, unfortunately this stream won't go on forever. I've already been... Hold on. I don't even know. I can't tell how long I've been streaming for, because I have a terrible setup, and hold on. There we go. That's just nursery. That'll give me some idea. And I know, and I am very sorry for having achieved literally very little in this stream, because I've been too busy talking and not busy enough actually doing any of the actual work that I meant to be doing initially. But hopefully, slowly but surely, my abilities to stream will increase, and I'll actually be able to talk and do stuff at the same time, much the way Ronan and Dukon and Tom What the Geek and Filthy Coin and that sort of thing, all those lads who are a lot more experienced, someday maybe I'll get to their level. And again, while this does look terrible, I'm aware of that. Remember, a lot of this will actually be knocked through to make wardrobes and that sort of thing. This is my own way of getting it into my own head, the space I have available to me in order to do things. Again, like as I said, we can work on all this. Thank you, Ronan. I appreciate that. I don't think any of my streams are going to be a massive production because ultimately I'm not a productive person. Yeah, no, I am your stereotypical Irishman, and I don't know if any was aware of Faulty Towers. There's a Irish builder in that, and he makes me think of myself so much, and his character is so spot on that it's just uncanny. But let's just keep on as we are. And as I said, for me personally, this is just how I do things, and a very methodical way. It's the only way, particularly like when I build my exteriors, I very rarely have any kind of frame of reference or anything like a picture. Sometimes I do, but often I just throw rubbish together, and it takes me typically a couple of iterations to actually come up with something I'm not happy with, but less unhappy with, and then I, eventually I'm finished. But with my interiors, I'm actually incredibly methodical. So I'm the exact opposite with my interiors as I am with my exteriors. As if I wouldn't be able otherwise. It's unusual, I suppose, that my mind works one way for doing exteriors and completely the opposite way when I'm doing my interiors. But again, just that's unfortunately the way that's the way God made me. So there we have it. So we have there's not quite at all. We just want to do that there. And sorry, my phone has gone off again. There we go. Wrong one. A hainadó, a 3, a cahar, a cuig, a sé. A sé, a seacht, a hocht, a ní agus a de. Okay, there we go. I tend to, sorry again, apologies if I tend to mutter oscuelga in Irish. It's just me, kind of a stream of consciousness, because I'm a devil for I'm a devil for talking to myself as well, which is a sign of madness. I'm well aware. I've talked to myself and muttered to myself, and since forever really. So I suppose this streaming where I'm talking into a mic with no response should come naturally to me. But I do have world edit, yes, Ronan. But as most of my Darwiners are aware, I am literally I'm aware of world edit. I'll learn it and I will forget it. And Scout, the other day we were doing the roof here, and I laid out my entire building in stucco first. So I had let's say red stucco walls, and then for I had red stucco walls, and then for like the center bits I had orange stucco, and for the roofing I had blue stucco. And then so I was going and I was replacing each stair block one by one, from blue stucco to this is the blue diamond clay shingle stairs. And Scout was there. Druss, for the love of God, would you just use repel, because you can just click on the repel and then just it'll replace all the ones you want with all the stucco with the block of your choice. So I went and did that, and even then I still managed to balls it up, because I clicked on this one here and then I tried to put this one over here, but of course this is a different block state because it's facing a different way than this. So Yeah, I'm an old dog and I am absolutely terrible at new tricks. It's a the sad tale. It's the sad tale of Druss. Um, look, I do think World Edit is fantastic, and I do try and remember it. I'm just, I don't know. I suppose I do never consider it. Um, yeah, listen, I should. One thing I have learned in my 43 years of existence is that always listen to women, because 99.99999% of the time they're right and we're wrong. And that's just the way of life. But again, it's just a matter of old dogs, new tricks. Okay, so let's try the living room. So for the living room, I don't want to use the same wallpapers I've used for down below. Um, so I try, if in one within one build I try, or one building I try and typically do different, just to make things interesting, do different walls for each. That would make a nice nursery one, I feel. I think that would be a nice nursery one. And look, I think again it's colourful. It's a little bit baroque, and it's probably a little bit early for the time period we're going for in the actual the world. And as I mentioned, what we're looking for is a kind of a fantasy world where we're going to have all sorts of kind of tropish things like orc camps and elvish cities, all that sort of thing. But ultimately, we are still going to be bound by the fact that we have only a limited number of blocks within Conquest Reforged. Brilliant as it is, we have 12,000 blocks, but we're still limited in interior blocks and exterior blocks and that sort of thing. So I think that we ought to be forgiving, and when you go to any actual world, you have to recognize the fact that that we are limited, despite the fact that we're far less limited than traditional vanilla Minecraft. But we are limited still in our block choice, so we need to just be forgiving of that. So if I choose that and it's the wrong time period by 100 years, I don't really care. Like I'm conscious of it, but look, ultimately there's not much we can do about it. And oh, I love Scout. Check that out. Look at that line there, and it's just off that line there. No, that's not the case. Okay, never mind. I thought I'd wind you up. Look, there you go. That's for you, Scout. Right. So look, unfortunately, as it turns out, I have to leave it there for the moment. I will try and do this again if there's an appetite for it. I will try and stream again. But thanks very much for joining me, everyone, and we'll talk to you all later. Again, thanks everyone for joining me who did. I appreciate it greatly. Stay frosty and take it easy. Goodbye.